Greetings to all our parishioners of St. John Paul II Parish and to all the visitors who have joined us in viewing this video reflection. This week we celebrate the patronal feast of our parish. Thursday, October 22nd is the feast of St. John Paul II. We will be celebrating with special prayers at all the masses this coming weekend. Unfortunately, the annual bilingual Mass and potluck cannot take place this year due to the COVID-19 restrictions. I thought I would let John Paul II's own words speak, and so I offer you a series of quotes from him, along with some images of him. A few are pictures that I took personally. Many are the images that have been given to me or to our parish and represent powerful memories of this great man, this saint that many of us remember.
What really matters in life is that we are loved by Christ and that we love him in return. In comparison to the love of Jesus, everything else is secondary, and without the love of Jesus, everything else is useless. It is Jesus that you seek when you dream of happiness. He is waiting for you when nothing else you find satisfies you. He is the beauty to which you are so attracted. It is he who provoked you with that thirst for fullness that will not let you settle for compromise. It is he who urges you to shed the masks of a false life. It is he who reads in your hearts your most genuine choices, the choices that others try to stifle. Genuine love is demanding, but its beauty lies precisely in the demands it makes. Only those able to make demands on themselves in the name of love can then demand love from others. There is no place for selfishness and no place for fear. Do not be afraid then when love makes demands. Do not be afraid when love requires sacrifice. There is no evil to be faced that Christ does not face with us. There is no enemy that Christ has not already conquered. There is no cross to bear that Christ has not already borne for us and does not now bear with us. We are not the sum of our weaknesses and failures. We are the sum of the Father's love for us and our real capacity to become the image of his Son. The most beautiful and stirring adventure that can happen to you is the personal meeting with Jesus, who is the only one who gives real meaning to our lives. You perceive it in the depths of your heart. All that is good on earth, all professional success, even the human love that you dream of, can never fully satisfy your deepest and most intimate desires. Only an encounter with Jesus can give full meaning to your lives. The future is in your hearts and in your hands. God is entrusting to you the task, at once difficult and uplifting, of working with him in the building of the civilization of love. God has assigned as a duty to every man the dignity of every woman. It is Jesus who stirs in you the desire to do something great with your lives, the will to follow an ideal, the refusal to allow yourselves to be ground down by mediocrity, the courage to commit yourselves humbly and patiently to improving yourselves and society, making the world more human and more fraternal. The way Jesus shows you is not easy. Rather, it is like a path winding up a mountain. Do not lose heart. The steeper the road, the faster it rises towards ever wider horizons. Darkness can only be scattered by light. Hatred can only be conquered by love. Do not be afraid. Do not be satisfied with mediocrity. Put out into the deep and let down your nets for a catch. Yours is the gigantic task of overcoming all evil with good, always trying amidst the problems of life to place your trust in God, knowing that His grace supplies strength to human weakness. You must oppose every form of hatred with the invincible power of Christ's love. Jesus does not say no to the authentic demands of the heart, but only a clear, loud yes to life, to love, to freedom, to peace, and to hope. With Him, no goal is impossible, and even a small act of generosity grows and can lead to change. Today, Christ is asking each of you the same question. Do you love me? He is not asking you whether you know how to speak to crowds, whether you can direct an organization or manage an estate. He is asking you to love Him. All the rest will ensue. It is first of all necessary for you to give a forceful witness of love for life, God's gift. This love must extend from the beginning to the end of every life and must struggle against every attempt to make man the arbiter of his brother's life, of the unborn life, of life that is waning, or that of the handicapped and weak. Love of Christ does not distract us from interest in others, but rather invites us to responsibility for them, to the exclusion of no one. Remember that you are never alone. Christ is with you on your journey every day of your lives. He has called you and chosen you to live in the freedom of the children of God. Turn to Him in prayer and in love. Ask Him to grant you the courage and strength to live in this freedom always. Walk with Him who is the way, the truth, and the life. Courageously follow the path of personal holiness and diligently nourish yourselves with the Word of God and the Eucharist. The holier you are, the more you can contribute to building up the Church and society. Dear friends, if you learn to discover Jesus in the Eucharist, you will also know how to discover Him in your brothers and sisters, particularly in the very poor. Prayer, intimate dialogue with the one who is calling you to be His disciples, must come first. Be generous in your active life and be deeply immersed in the contemplation of God's mystery. Make the Eucharist the heart of your day. Be generous in answering Jesus' call, inviting you to put out into the deep and become His witnesses, discovering the trust He puts in you to devise a future together with Him. Above all, to fulfill this mission, the Church He is entrusting to you requires that you cultivate a genuine life of prayer, nourished by the sacraments, especially the Eucharist and confession. The Eucharist is the sacrament of the presence of Christ, who gives Himself to us because He loves us. He loves each one of us in a unique and personal way in our practical daily lives, in our families, among our friends, at study and work, in rest and relaxation. He loves us when He fills our days with freshness, and also when in times of suffering He allows trials to weigh upon us. Even in the most severe trials, He lets us hear His voice.
In conclusion, please stay safe, stay healthy, and know that we are truly blessed. Happy Feast Day. I remain your pastor, Father Mike.